Hello everyone, Phil here, and welcome to DSP Reacts for a new episode of DSP versus the Internet. This is episode 81 for September 8th, 2024. I want to thank everyone here who's live as a, live audience attendance, and also those who watch on demand. This show is made possible by channel members. If you become either a Ultra member or a Submissions tier member, you are the people who submit clips for the show that I react to every single week. The Ultra members, who are the biggest supporters, are guaranteed to get their clips watched. The Submissions tier members go into a randomized playlist where everyone has an equal chance to be watched, okay? And every week, man, big variety. You never know what you're going to see here on the show. So, case in point, let's start off today with a video called What Happened to Mortal Kombat? And I believe this video is relatively new. It is from 9 days ago. So, yeah, let's find out. Please let me know how the volume sounds, guys.
Big three, what do you think of? You might think of something like this, or this, depending on who you are. Maybe your mind went straight to video games, and you thought of something like this.
That's why the PS3 is better than the Xbox 360.
Those are all good guesses, but today, we're looking at the big three in fighting games. Street Fighter, Tekken, and... can you guess it? Go ahead, take your time. Okay, that's enough time. That's right, it's Guilty. In this video, we're talking about the black sheep of the fighting game family.
Yeah, it's a black sheep now, but it's a black sheep for a good reason. Because they fell off. When they were rebooting their series back in the days when Street Fighter 4 was resurging, right? Street Fighter 4 had a resurgence 2008, 2009, right? Fighting games came back in a big way. Within 1 year, 2010, Mortal Kombat rebooted with MK9, and it was great. It was a great resurgence. It felt competitive again. It had a great story, great modes. MK10 was also good. MK11 was good. It's only this last one where they messed up. This last one is so bad. You could tell they only cared about making a cash grab rather than making a good game. It's the first time in a long time Mortal Kombat's done that. I mean, they used to do that all throughout the 2000s. All those console-only games were terrible. And they went back to that formula. And that's why people don't like them anymore.
We're going to explore how one of the largest fighting game franchises in the world is also one of the most criticized. This is Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is a fighting game originally developed by Midway Games. Released in arcades in August of 1992, Mortal Kombat built upon the framework of titles like Street Fighter and Fatal Fury. From the digitized sprites of real-life actors to the over-the-top violence and iconic fatalities, Mortal Kombat was unlike any other fighting game during this time.
Scorpion wins. Fatality.
I remember spending a lot of time when I could playing Mortal Kombat, not being very good at it, but being like enthralled by a lot of the stuff that was in there. I was never one who was super into the gory side. That wasn't really what caught my attention. It was just that I loved the idea of fighting games in general. I mean, when I got to play Street Fighter 2, same way, I was just super into it. Something about the strategy, I think is what I would say, was just super.
Okay, I don't care about Ultra David's opinions about it. I want to hear about what you have to say about it in the modern day. It's been criticized in the past because of the violence. So let's fast forward now to like what you want to talk about for today. Because, I already know, yeah, in the 90s, it was the violence that was criticized. I know that.
And Trilogy. These two releases changed the course of Mortal Kombat forever. Ed Boon calls Ultimate MK3 his favorite arcade MK game of all time, and it was a competitive...
Well, yeah, because after that, they only had MK4, and MK4 was a humongous flop and problem for them. And after that, they didn't have any more arcade games. So, of course, that's his favorite of all time. It was the most popular one.
Staple for the franchise for years to come.
Certainly among the classic MK games,
Why are we talking? I thought it was about modern MK. This is all, like, old school shit we all know, right? Let's fast forward to when it went console only. Here we go. Let's do this. We already know about the 90s. Everyone knows about MK in the 90s, right?
I wouldn't play that game. I would sooner play Mortal Kombat. Something.
Special Forces?
It was the butt of a joke.
Although the main series games weren't that well received by the general competitive community and struggled to reach the same heights as its predecessors, Mortal Kombat still continued to draw in casual players and remained culturally relevant throughout the years. But after a string of poor performances from its spin-off titles, the next Mortal Kombat release would likely make or break the series. Thankfully for Ed Boon and the team, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, released in November 2002, was a smash hit, selling over...
Yeah, but here's the difference. Up until that point, Mortal Kombat had been known as one of the competitive fighting games. You could go to tournaments. It was serious play. like Street Fighter, like Tekken, etc. When they went to console only with Deadly Alliance, it lost all of that. It became it's a party game. You go, your friends come over your house, you beat the shit out of each other, you rip off each other's arms and beat them down like drumsticks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it became, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, but definitely it lost its appeal as a competitive game. So it sold a ton as a casual game, but it lost its prominence in the fighting game community, and people stopped really playing it in tournaments and the like.
Over 1 million copies in its first 6 weeks. The first mainline Mortal Kombat game developed specifically for home consoles, Deadly Alliance boasted a plethora of single-player content, Conquest Mode and the Crypt, as well as an engaging multiplayer mode. After Deadly Alliance, Mortal Kombat was back. Their focus on single-player content proved to be a recipe for success, and Deadly Alliance's sequel, Mortal Kombat Deception, sold 1 million units in its first week and became the fastest-selling game in Midway's history. 4 years later, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe sold nearly as many. But all things must eventually come to an end. For Midway Games, that end came on February 12, 2009, when the company filed for bankruptcy and was purchased by Warner Bros. Interactive. Keeping pretty much the same studio, Midway was renamed to NetherRealm Studios, and the first game in the NRS era of Mortal Kombat was the 9th main title game for the franchise. Titled Mortal Kombat, it was a soft reboot for the series. Mortal Kombat 9 saw the franchise return to its roots as a 2D fighter, with an added focus on single-player content. Using the lessons learned while developing Mortal Kombat vs. DC.
Who's playing this footage? They're terrible. They can't even do a single combo. Pathetic. At least do one combo in the video.
Universe, Ed Boon said, quote, "The dream for us was being able to tell a proper Mortal Kombat story. MK vs. DC was MK meets DC. And so, it was Batman and Superman and Scorpion. And the novelty was the crossover of the two things. When Mortal Kombat 9 came out, it was like, oh, we're going to come as close as we can to making a Mortal Kombat movie. These stories we've been telling through text, endings in the arcade, and other not as sophisticated forms of media, let's finally tell it into cinematic." But
and it worked. It was great. It was an awesome reboot. It was like the renaissance of fighting games again. For about a decade, it was like the dark ages. Capcom wouldn't make any fighting games. Mortal Kombat was making these console games that were not competitive. And the only company who was really hanging was Tekken. You know, you had other companies like Atlas. Was it Atlas? They were coming in. No, Arxis with like Guilty Gear. But it really was the dark ages for fighting games for about a decade. And then Street Fighter came back with Street Fighter 4. Mortal Kombat came back with Mortal Kombat 9. Tekken continued to make new games, right? It was Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Tekken 7. And then everything came back in a big way. So it was awesome. It was like this big resurgence of fighting games right at the time when I was becoming a YouTuber. It was perfect timing.
But while many reviewers considered Mortal Kombat 9 to be the best fighting game on the market at the time, it wasn't played competitively. At least, not at first.
And when Mortal Kombat 9 was announced, we heard that it was intended to be more of a competitive game. And many of us thought that was silly. There's no way Mortal Kombat's going to become competitive again. We just thought that was, PR, and that it wouldn't play out. And when it did come out, a lot of people tried it. A lot of people who I knew in the FGC did try it. I tried it, and I ended up really liking it. Some of my friends ended up really liking it. I would say most of them still didn't. Most of my friends in the FGC moved on from it pretty quickly. It kind of developed its own endemic scene shortly thereafter, right? There were players who sort of picked up MK9. It didn't come out to locals or majors at first, but within several months they were doing that, and they were doing well. But there's this kind of intermediate period where it's like people from the established FGC tried it out, most of them didn't stick with it, and then there was this big lull, and then more people started coming up who got into it because it was Mortal Kombat 9. That's why they got into it.
While Mortal Kombat 9 wasn't perfectly balanced, it marked Mortal Kombat's return to the competitive landscape, and subsequent releases have focused.
Yeah, what is that? Someone just said it in chat. They says the activate Windows watermark. He hasn't activated his Windows on his PC, and he's making videos for YouTube. It says it right there. It's blurry right now, but you're absolutely right. The guy activate Windows watermark in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, dude. Why don't activate your Windows? I activated my Windows on my new PC. What's going on here? Sakaino Senshi says, the dark ages of fighting games were when anime fighters started to pop up and take over until the resurgence happened with Street Fighter 4. Right, like Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, what was the other one? Skullgirls. They were all hitting the scene and kind of taking over a little bit because there just was nothing else. And everyone was like, well, the mechanics were sound and people liked them. And then basically the big boom, explosion, everything came back in a big way. Oh, it means he pirated Windows? Oh, that's good. Good thing to put in your video on YouTube. I received a $13 tip. From Noah, thank you for keeping the streams going, man. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Noah. With that tip, we've hit a whopping $200 of support on today's stream and climbing. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and coming out and supporting all my stuff. Particularly the React stuff this week had a big resurgence because of my documentary React, and now we're doing this show. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so very much. Excellent. All right, let's keep going.
Focused more and more on being competitively balanced. Unfortunately, the game's direction hasn't sat well with everyone.
For sure, animation and just sort of general graphics, style, all that sort of stuff, absolutely a big part of it. I think there's no doubt of it. I think that the animation has been getting better and better. But yeah, I thought it looked janky in earlier ones. I still think that part of it does. That's never been a big barrier for me. Just thinking about like my favorite games, a lot of them are kind of on the jankier looking side. It's never really been a big issue for me, but I understand for people that it is. And that's fine. You know, you mentioned the Peacemaker gunshot. Most fighting games do animations in a more out there way, right? Like if you think about like how they look in Marvel or whatever, like they're just like very over the top animations. It's kind of what we're used to. MK doesn't tend to do that, but in MK1, I think almost all the animations are good in my opinion. I think some of them look fantastic, to be honest. But yeah, you know, you if you're not in the MK scene, you sort of see like what the gunshot looks like, or some characters have like stanky like normals in previous games.
While there are clearly some issues, Mortal Kombat had a fairly solid, albeit low-key, competitive scene. While it's easy to get concerned about the state of the scene based on entry numbers at big tournaments, part of the reason is due to the fact that many players prefer to compete online.
Yeah, I would love it if more people played MK competitively. On the other hand, a lot of people are playing MK competitively, and not all of them go to in-person events, but there are online events for this game constant. Every day there's some tournament going on, and they get entered a lot, and they get watched a lot. You know, it's never been the case that MK's had a big in-person scene. I went to my local for MK last weekend, and there were 4 of us, and there were 50 people for Street Fighter. But it's always been like that. And then you go online onto Kombat League, and I've almost never run into the same person twice in Kombat League. There must be so many people. I don't have them, but so many people playing. Whereas in Street Fighter, like I run into the same people not uncommonly. It seems like
Yeah, the problem with that is the online play sucks. The elephant in the room is that this game, MK1, the latest one that came out last fall, it performs terribly. Online, the latency is ridiculously high compared to its other contemporaries. Like Street Fighter 6 is like butter when you have the good setup. Tekken 8 is really good. This game is like lag. So great, the online scene is big, but it lags like shit. So why the fuck would you want to play it? Again, this one, MK1, they dropped the ball. They didn't care. They just wanted to make money, which is why they just keep releasing DLC characters for a fucking broken, stupid game that's not even fun to play because it lags so much. So that's why there's a decline. Seriously. And no one wants to play the game in person because competitively it doesn't hang. It's nowhere near as good as Street Fighter 6. It's nowhere near as good as Tekken 8. It's just not. It's the one that sells the most because it has the gore. Because people are stupid and immature and they think gore is a good thing. I don't get it. But again, these aren't serious players. But what's happened is this game has now become what it was in the 2000s again. It's a party game. You fuck around with your friends online in lag, and you don't care if it's serious or not. You just fuck around with it, and it makes a lot of money. So, you know, if NetherRealm's okay with that, good on them. But people like me are not going to be covering this game. I'm just refused. There's no point. It sucks. The game was terrible when I played it. I couldn't believe how bad it was. I was like, wow, this is not fun in any way. It's boring. It's slow. Fucking online play shit. Yeah, so, I mean, that's what's going to happen. Maybe that's what all they care about is their bottom line and making money. I don't know, but that's what happened with MK. All right, let's go to the next video. I think we've seen enough of this one. Let's continue. See what's next on the Ultra members stuff. Okay, I just wanted to be sure that the playlist is working. It is. Cool. All right, on to the next. Blu-ray restoration? What is this? Rejected? In the spring of 1999, the Family Learning Channel commissioned animator... Wait a minute. We already watched these. Didn't we? I swear we watched this already last year. I swear we watched these. Did we not? Do you remember this? It's a series of shorts for the Learning Channel or whatever. And they're absolutely ridiculous, over the top. And we watched this already. I'll watch some of it, but I swear to God we've already watched this. Let's see. Yeah, they were all rejected because they're ridiculously, like, stupid. For the Learning Channel.
My spoon is too big.
Yeah, we saw these already. Well, whoever submitted this, I apologize. I didn't realize it was one I had already watched on this show just a couple months ago. If next week, if you're still an Ultra member, if you want to submit 2, I'm okay with that. Because I'm not going to watch this again. We've already seen it. Okay? Let's go on to the next one.
Marimba.
Bola, 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 boom.
Aquarion.
Too much echo on the glass.
Steel pen.
Oh, I like that. I like the steel pan, but again, it creates an echo effect. I think the first one sounded much better, right? Takano Senji says, MK1 felt extremely rushed. Rumors are that it was supposed to be a Marvel game that NRS was working on, but DC decided to change plans and turn it into MK1. MK1 updates fix most issues. Okay. Huh.
Vintage stylophone.
I have never heard of vintage stylophone before. Slapophone because you slap it? That's pretty funny.
Boom whackers.
I've never heard of a boom whacker before either. This is wild.
Telephone.
Oh, I like the sound of that. That's a nice, crisp, echoing sound.
Xylophone.
The classic xylophone's like the best.
All right, guys.
Seriously, like the classic xylophone by far was the best out of all those, right? It sounded really nice. Okay. I received a $25 tip from someone who says, Duty is trash. I actually haven't really concerned myself with Duty in a while because there's no reason to. He is trash. It's, you know, kind of a waste of time to even talk about the trash all the time. If the trash needs to be taken out again or reflushed, I guess we'll do it at some point. But for now, it's all good. Thank you so much for an anonymous $25 tip here today on DSPReacts. I appreciate that. Okay. Day in the life of a Google software engineer.
Guys, we got a lot to do today, so let's get moving. One of the cool things about working at Google is that you have access to every one of their offices in the world. So today I'm heading to the headquarters in Mountain View. Oftentimes I'll see coworkers taking a trip, maybe to New York or to some other country, and they might vacation a week and then work from that office for a week. So that's one of the cooler perks of working for a global company. I might go to Mountain View once every 2 weeks or so. It's a lot more crowded. They've got more food, more cafeterias, but they've also got a lot more people, and the traffic can be pretty bad getting in and out. Let's check it out. I wanted to show it to you guys. It's time to find some breakfast.
They have chicken, fried chicken for breakfast. Okay. What is that, beans? Full salad? What is that? What the hell is that? He's having fried chicken for breakfast.
All right, that was good. There's an excellent smoothie place around here. Let's go get some.
Did he say he's going to work? When does he work? He had time for a full breakfast. Now he's going to get a smoothie. When does he have to go to work? It's the smoothie place. This looks like orange juice to me. What the hell is this? He said he was going to work.
This is the game room.
Going to work, guys.
PPR? It's great.
Oh my goodness. Thank you to Yeti or Not News who did a super chat. It says, thank tax for the king. I've been enjoying your content lately. Long live the king. Thank you so much, Yeti. I'm just gonna put Yeti on the leaderboard rather than this ginormous name. Yeti or not. Yeti or not. News. Yeti or not. Thank you. And I received a dollar tip. Someone asked me, would I ever go to Thailand? No. How is Thailand? Is it a nice place to visit? I really don't know anything about Thailand besides that's where Sagat fights in Street Fighter. That's where I'm from. Can't really answer that. Thank you for the dollar tip. I don't even have to go to work. Okay. Can we get to, like... Okay, yeah. It's a fucking thing, DDR.
So since I don't have a desk here, I usually just find one of these empty meeting rooms that I can work out of. I'm gonna get a bit of work done here, and I'll see you again at lunchtime.
So he's working in a meeting room. They're allowed to just work wherever they want. They don't have like a set desk. I mean, if you're a programmer, you can literally just do whatever you want from anywhere. I guess that's kind of cool, actually, no? Right? If you don't have to have a set desk, you can just set up your laptop anywhere. I guess that's some incredible work freedom, right? Are these Google bikes that you can just grab and ride?
Alright, so now I'm on the bicycle.
Yeah.
I heard there's a bowling alley somewhere, so I want to go check that out and see if I can show it to you guys. So we're on our way to the bowling alley and just taking a easy bike ride.
A bowling alley? Okay, what's next? He's eating again? Is it a different cafeteria or the same? I guess it's the same cafeteria. Now they have lunch food too.
So yeah, they wanted 15 to 20 minutes for a cappuccino, so I'm just gonna skip it.
I mean, yeah, who the hell would wait 15 to 20 minutes for a cappuccino? Hell no. Hell no. They have a bowling alley at Google. Wow. What the heck? And of course he gets a perfect strike.
There's a cafe around here that is reservation only, so let's check it out.
Oh, he crossed the line? Is that what it made that noise for? He walked over the line and buzzed? Oh. This is like for dinner, right? Come here and get dinner. After work, when you're done with work.
So they weren't open yet, but that's fine. There's another cafe I want to show you, which is bigger.
So honestly, he says a day in the life of a Google software engineer, but he's not showing you the work. He's showing you the campus, essentially. The Google campus, they call it. He's showing you all the crazy shit that they have there that other companies wouldn't. Are there pomegrapples? I've heard there's pomegrapples that they have, but I haven't seen them yet.
Before we do that, I found a garden. We got kale, chili peppers, and just a variety of plants here. It's cool to look at. All right, found another meeting room. Now it's time to get back to work, do a little bit more, and then I'll see you next time at lunchtime. I'm gonna try to get into lunch now.
So you can just work at any meeting room. You just stop in the meeting room and just start working there. That's remarkable, right? Like, even for me, you can say it's so awesome to work from home, but I'm stuck. I have to always work from this office. This is where my equipment is, my setup. You can just program from anywhere. Huh.
We're gonna head over to Charlie's Cafe, which is pretty terrifying for me to go to because it gets crowded so fast. And it is the largest cafe.
How old is this video, actually? 6 years. It's 6 years old. Okay. Coming to this video after watching his newer content as like a villain origin story. Oh, really? Apparently he's changed his content completely now, huh? Huh. Well, I don't want to watch the whole thing. He's riding his bike again. What's it? More food? Even more food. Holy moly. More food. The whole bit. He's just eating tons of food the whole thing. Okay, let's watch. Let's look at the end. Let's see the end here.
It's the other day when I filled out some user experience survey. So I'm gonna use up those credits. So we're at the merchandise store. This is available to the public. It can be a little difficult to find, so make sure you look it up.
Google merch store? Yeah, Google. Probably have YouTube stuff. Yep, YouTube right there. I guess they probably have YouTube and other things too. All different merch. All their different brands.
So let me just show you guys quickly what I bought. It's a thermos, 24 bucks. And 3
24
juggling
bucks.
balls.
You gotta hope it's
You
a
know, gotta
good
practice
bottle for
that can
24
flip.
bucks, man.
Yeah, so the store is really pretty expensive, but there's also a cheaper online shop. And just so you guys know, it's not all fun and games around here. There's also a lot of eating to be done. The campus is open to the public, although you can't enter the buildings. But there is an exception. If you subscribe to my channel and you ever see me on campus, I might just take you out to lunch. So
Yeah, look, channel update. I quit tech. You quit tech altogether. Huh. All right. Couple shout outs to do and then we'll split the part. So let's see here. We've got sorry. Where did it go? I have the wrong thing open. Hold on. Ronald did a super chat. Only work 2 hours a day, get overpaid, and be outraged when the industry has mass layoffs. I don't know. You know, all the stuff that I hear, all right? All the stuff that I've heard anyway is that these people who work these crazy jobs, the Facebook jobs, the Google jobs, and everything, they got so much affluence, right? They're so profitable. They can have these crazy campuses with all this extra stuff, but they're like, as long as we're productive, we don't care, right? Like, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with it as long as they actually do work and do their jobs, right? But for me, my experience with YouTube in the 16 years I've been a YouTuber is that whenever they do a change or whenever they launch something, they screw the whole site up. And then we're the beta testers. We're the end users for this stuff, but we're the people who also need their site for business. So when they launch something new and it breaks the whole site or they break something critical we need to work, it hurts all of us. It's like, where was the due diligence before you launched a big site-wide change? Or, yeah, I still remember to this day when they changed YouTube channels from being these cool customizable experiences that really fit your personality and your content to essentially being a white textbook page that is boring as dirt and no one likes. And they never changed it back. They literally always kept it like that. And that's what got me about, you know, at least YouTube. I don't know about Google in general. I've really had zero interaction with like more Google, besides the search engine. Like, I don't even use other Google products, right? So I wouldn't even know. But I don't know. Anyway, that was fascinating to at least see what it was like 6-7 years ago at Google, I guess. And I received a $1 tip. His video about working at Google is like mostly him not working. Well, I mean, the thing is, though, here's the thing. Could he really show you him working? No. Because if he did, I mean, that's like probably like proprietary shit for Google. Like, he can't show you him working, right? I think the intention of the video was to show you the campus, to show you how wild it is to work at like Google, where you could ride around campus on a bike that's not yours, where there's tons of food everywhere, there's a game room, you know what I mean? And I think that's more fascinating. I think it is interesting that he could work wherever he wants. Like, you go to any meeting room anywhere on the campus and he could actually work, right? That, if anything, that's fascinating to me. So, okay. When we come back, we will continue on with the Ultra member submissions. Thank you guys very much so much for the show so far. Hope you're enjoying, and I'll see you in part 2 for the week.